Hey Ekzis, how are you doing? Thank you for ordering this feedback, and it's time to listen to your track and to give you some advice on how to improve it. So let's play it, and I will give you some feedback while it's playing. Overall, I can already tell you I like the breaks, especially. I think the drop needs some changes in the melody and the mixing, and overall the track has a bit too much dynamic range. So let's listen to the track. So I wouldn't put this fade in first. I would start louder, like at this volume. The vocal sits nicely on the track. That's very nice. Very nice ambience, atmosphere. The sub could be louder in this part. And the shakers could be a bit more quiet, maybe 1 or 2 decibels quiet. Same for the clock tick, a bit more quiet. Some reverb on this. Woo! So let me give you some feedback already. So the drop melody could be catchier. Let me focus on the drop first, because that's where I have the most to say. The kick drum is nice. It could have more low end, like more subs, more like this. You can listen to Calvo on the Move, or to Rome Calvo remix. He has quite a similar lead sound, and it will definitely help you get closer to what you want. I think that's something you want to achieve. It's a sound similar to Calvo. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that's pretty close to Calvo. The groove of the melody follows too much the piano, and I feel like it's a bit boring. I would like to hear something a bit different, like you have a 2 minute 36. I already listened here. Yeah, that. I like the I like the fact you have more notes, so definitely spend some more time on your melody to make it more catchy, and maybe try a few different grooves. I feel like the weakest point is like when you have this ta 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 ta. It would fit nicely for a break, but not for a drop. I expect something like dun 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 dun, something more bouncy. You can listen to Mike Williams, for example. Yeah, I hope you get what I mean. Something more bouncy, something more groovy, especially towards the end of the melody. So this groove is nice here. Regarding the structure, I would like the sound of the lead to start a bit earlier, before the drop, so that you can build some interest. And I always like, for example, in Avicii's tracks, he always used like the lead sound with a lot of reverb and a low pass filter, and then it's coming. You hear the low pass filter opening. Here I would like to have something like that here. Yeah, you need to introduce the drop a bit better. Also add the snares here already, like So yeah, because the end is quite nice, but I would like to have some more build up here. Regarding this part, I think you have too much resonance on the low pass filter that you have on the lead. It goes like wow wow wow. It should be more smooth in this part. So diminish a bit the resonance, and yeah, it would be nice. Will sound less weird. So that was for the structure. I still have 1 point for structure. The hi-hats, you should bring them at the half of the drop here. And some, maybe the hi-hats should be a bit more like percussive, like very short, very strong. Here they sound a bit too much like tropical house, so I would change that. Lead needs more high end. That's what I wrote. I will send you the notes as well. Add some white noise, layer some white noise, silent one white noise, play the same notes as the lead, and it's going to be much more powerful, because here it's like a bit muffled. It's like wah, wah, wah. You could also cut some lower frequencies on your lead, like maybe around 500 or 100 hertz. You can cut these 500 hertz, 600, 800. I don't know where it's better, but a little bit, because it sounds a bit muddy in the mid-range. The piano, the background synthesizer, and the lead all play in this mid-range, and it sounds a bit muddy. It's very busy, and I would like you to change that. It should sound cleaner. The leads need more compression. Maybe you can add an OTT and you set the depth to the left, not too much, like 4 to 20, let's say. Maybe 20 is too much, but yeah, bring some more compression on the lead, and you can route all your lead layers to one single leads layer, which you route to the master channel and a reverb channel, full wet, so that you only have one reverb on all your leads. Here they sound a bit too much like they are different sounds playing together, but they are not one lead sound. Also, I feel like you don't have enough mono signal in your leads. Very stereo, and the track sounds a bit weak due to the fact you don't have enough of the mid signal. You have a lot of side signal, meaning you have a lot of elements that are different from right to the left speaker, which means it's a stereo signal, but the mono signal needs to be louder to give some more body to the track. So you can duplicate one of your layers and set it to mono, route it to a different bus, and then the leads bus, and it's gonna sound much more solid. Here it's not solid enough due to the lack of white noise and mono signal. Hope it makes sense. On the leads bus, you can add some compression, 2 to 3 for one of gain of ratio, just to glue all the leads together. The bass needs a bit more bounciness. A bit more distortion, I would say, on the bass, and it's gonna sound better, because here it's like very dull. It's very it's not bright. It should be a bit more like boom 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 boom, something like that, and maybe make it go one octave higher and then down. Play with the bass, add some portamento maybe on the bass, and short notes playing, and layered bass. That's what Mike Williams does as well. So he adds 2 layers on his bass sometimes. He even adds some white noise on his bass. It's going like it's very weird, but it works. So white noise, you can add some white noise on the bass, on the lead. Not too much reverb on the white noise, please. Very few reverb. Not a lot of reverb. That's what I mean on the white noise. Otherwise, it goes like. You don't want this. You just want to with a very short sustain and very short decay and some release, just percussive sound. Maybe you can add some plucky sound or percussion sample playing the same groove as the melody. That's gonna be nice. Add some punch to the melody. I would increase a little bit the velocity of the piano and compress the piano a bit more, like all of your instruments basically. Short attack around 10 milliseconds on the compression on the piano, and 4 to 5 decibels of gain reduction maximum, I would say. It's not a hard rule, but definitely would help. And make sure your piano is stereo, pretty wide. It's gonna sound better, especially if your lead sits a bit more in the middle. As I say, the kick needs a bit more of the low frequencies, like it needs to be more punchy. You can play only the kick and the bass, and it's gonna help you. Also, maybe make sure you don't have too long sidechain. Like you want a really short sidechain. If you use LFO tool, the top of your heel should be like around number 4 or 5. Here you can see at the top of the LFO tool is written 4 or 5. You can check out my Mike Williams tutorial if you want. I've used this kind of sidechain. So make sure your bass is not playing at the same time as your kick. With a nice sidechain, it's gonna do the trick. Something else maybe. Yeah, overall your track has a bit too much dynamic range, so it's not due to the fact it's not mastered. It's partly due to that, but you have some margin still. You can improve the compression on the individual elements, limit your bass with a limiter, and compress your piano a bit more, and change this groove. I feel like it could be more bouncy, more catchy, basically. So that's it. Ekzis, thank you so much for sending this track, and I hope you can improve it with my feedback. Don't hesitate to ask me if you have any questions about my feedback. And yeah, have fun producing. Can't wait for a new track from you. And I hope the weather is nice in your country. Where are you from again? Swedish. So you're from Sweden. Nice. I like Sweden. I like Bass Hunter. I love other things from Sweden, like meatballs, PewDiePie, and IKEA. But yeah, that's already something, right? So yeah, have some fun producing, and of course, don't forget to pray to FL Studio God. Bye, Ekzis.